let's see here. Darcom, Carcom, Barcom, I'm having a hard time coming up with a good pun for the Communications and Marketing Group. Well, that doesn't matter because the owner is our guest this week on Small Business Celebration. This is Small Business Celebration. Welcome, where we chat with real business owners who have real success and learn from them about what works, what doesn't, and who want you to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train. Join us where you can learn something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest this week is Dave Plivelich, the President, CEO, and founder of the Marcom Group. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you.
For visionaries who don't know who you are, who are you, and what is it that you do?
Dave Plivelich, Marcom Group, serial entrepreneur, past president of Petroleum Club Bakersfield for 13 years, co-owner of Valley Ag Voice newspaper, Marcom Group, web development, advertising, marketing agency, used to know an ISP, doing DSL and dial-up.
So when are you going to do something?
As soon as I find time.
The reason we're here with Dave Plivelich is because he's definitely a fixture in the San Joaquin Valley, and he's done a lot of great things, especially in the world of marketing. But you've been doing the Marcom Group for how many years?
Since 98.
98. And I would think that technology's changed a little bit since you first started.
Tad.
Well, what was the industry like when you first started?
Well, I mean, I was around when computers first started getting used in the printing industry and in the design world. When I started my company, literally there was Mustang Software, which is what bulletin board, message room
What's
type
a bulletin
stuff.
board? What's a message room?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember what it was actually called. That might not be what it was called, but websites just didn't exist, know. And so one of those things, being at the right place, the right time, certainly was a big factor. And I'm still blown away by that, that I was actually, there, for one of those moments. You hear about those moments, to actually be in one, it was a different story. So I mean, that was a big change right there. So that was probably 96, and it got my wheels turning, and within 2 years, I quit my job and launched my company.
You are self-taught in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Tell us the story about the class that you took to learn how to make a font type.
Oh, that one. All right. So that was Lightspeed Technology. So they were teaching a class they contacted all the agencies in town, and one of the graphic designers to teach them, here's how do you build a web page. And so I took this one-day class. Oh my God, it was funny. And learned how to make your font bigger, make the background color change, and make the font blink.
Blink.
Oh, geez. So,
welcome to the 1990s, right?
So, the blinking type, the animated GIFs. Anyways, so I took that class on a Monday, and it was like 4 hour long or whatever. And about midweek, my boss, the guy I was working for, says, "Well, we got some clients that want websites." Oh, okay. So, I think I alluded last time I talked to you, I got a hold of my brother-in-law who worked for Adobe Systems at the time. I'm like, "Hey, Jim, how do they build websites up there in Silicon Valley?" He goes, "Notepad." Wait.
You're talking about the yellow piece of paper that you write.
Practically. No, it's just text. And so I found this software that you could like draw a box and then flip and look at the code and see what code was used to make that box. And so I got a hold of the instructor from Lightspeed. I took the course from a Monday, and I said, "Hey, I'm building this website, and I got to have it done by this Friday, and I need to do a client-side image map." What a client-side image map is so you've got this graphic, and you could pinpoint on it, if I click here, it's going to go here. If I click here, and he goes, you're doing an image map? There was two ways to do it. It was called client side, which was from the server, and I can't remember the other style of it. He goes, you just learned how to type blink and bigger on Monday. Yeah, anyways, I still need to get this done. So I guess the moral of that story was really, hurdles. There's roadblocks out there. You just have to figure out how to get around them. So my roadblock was I needed to do this image map, and I had no clue how to do. I still needed to get on the other side of that roadblock.
Right.
And so it was like, all right, well, what do I need to do? So, yeah, that's what I did with that class. But yeah, that was funny. So.
But this also led to something else that was very important, because as you were developing the Marcom Group and building it, you suddenly had clients coming in wanting to get websites, and you were primarily print media at the time. And how did that progress, because there was something very fundamental that shifted in the thinking of the way Marcom Group did things once you started getting all that together?
Yeah, so my background was traditional advertising marketing, so graphic design, ads, whether or not they were print ads, radio commercials, TV commercials, the creative, the designing, creation of all that. Websites were different, and to be quite honest, I had been doing traditional stuff for so long, I got burned out. I really got, it was, especially with advertising, because certain things that we were doing, we were working for a cellular company, cellular phones. And so basically Bell South would come up with what the plan was on Monday in Atlanta, contact Bakersfield, say, here's what the offer is going to be. We would find out by the afternoon or Tuesday morning. We'd have to develop whatever creative concepts we were going to do to promote it, get that approved. Bakersfield, Atlanta.
Back to Atlanta.
You've got approval. Now you got to create that stuff Wednesday. And like for a newspaper ad, the California, you had to have that stuff into the paper by Thursday at 5 o'clock or Friday morning to be in the paper by Saturday and Sunday. Come Monday, rinse and repeat.
Wow.
That will burn somebody out. So the website stuff was like, ooh, this is new. This is refreshing. This is different.
Right.
And I found I could apply my knowledge from my traditional experience to this.
Right.
And keep in mind, back in those days, it was computer scientist students that were building websites because it involved a computer.
Right.
And so we'd actually had hired somebody from Montana. And he left, he was with us for about a year or two, and then went down south, and he's like, Dave, you got to get into this website stuff. I'm like, why? And he goes, because computer scientists are building web pages. They don't need to be. It needs designers. It needs the experience of, we didn't use the terms user interface or user experience at that time, but that's what it needed. It needed somebody that could look at that and engage the user. And so, yeah, I jumped into that. But we realized by 2007 the staff that I had and the expertise, because back then when I started, you had to design it, you had to build it, and you had to do all that yourself. Right. And so we'd gotten to a point where, no, we have a designer that's focusing on design. We've got a developer that's coding that's focusing on that. So we got a copywriter that's writing the content, in all those pieces. We decided, well, their background, they all came from traditional stuff, so why don't we come full circle and be a full service advertising agency. So we started with web and then became full service. Back when I started, full service did everything except web. They outsourced websites. So I kind of came in through the back door of it.
But there's something else incredibly important.
Here's the philosophy part. Right?
We'll get into philosophy later. This is the security blanket of the whole thing. You own your own servers.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, especially if you're the client, you're the business owner, and your entire business, the face, the front door, everything about your business is your website. Tell us why you owning your servers is so important.
A little bit of it was probably, a lot of it. It's a control factor. I control my situation. I don't rely on somebody else for that. I could have outsourced, and many times through the years, I would get somebody working for me that goes, "Hey, we can save money if we outsource this, and put this in the hands of this other company." And it got to the point where it was like, okay, go run the numbers and get back to me every time. 2 weeks later, yeah, we've got the best solution going on there. Wasted 2 weeks doing that, but it was that. It was for my peace of mind as well as my client's peace of mind.
How so?
If there was an issue, I don't have to contact, I'm not even going to say their name, GoLaddy.
You don't have to go to a third party.
The client doesn't have to contact me, and then we contact them and we sit and wait. They contact me and it's done. All my stuff is in a very secure location in Los Angeles. I'm riding on the shoulders of the giants down there because I'm where level 3 communication is: Sprint, AOL, one-on-one communications. I'm there. So if something goes wrong, there's bigger people than me making phone calls. So I sleep at night, and my clients sleep at night. For us with a website going down, it's extremely important. That's it's like a brick and mortar business going, hey, we're shutting down your front door here for the next however long.
Right.
Same thing with email. Clients don't get email. Something's wrong. It didn't used to be that way, but now even more so, it's even more important. Because look what we've done with COVID. More and more of us are virtual, but more and more of us don't have brick and mortar locations. I shut my brick and mortar location because we're 100% digital, 100%. We still do our in-person meetings with clients that want that, but it's peace of mind. And again, probably control. I control that situation, and I'm not relying on anybody else, which my clients get the benefit to tap into. That when they contact us, we got your back. We got your back. You don't have to think twice again about that. So
we're going to talk in the next segment about something that Dave just alluded to, which is working remotely. And we are not recording this at an office for a good reason. But before we do that, if visionaries want to get in touch with you, Dave, how do they do that?
Website.
Imagine that, a website.
Imagine that.
And what is the website?
TheMarcomGroup.com. So TheMarcom, which Marcom is marketing communications, and then group.com.
And if you enjoy Small Business Celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, and notify, and leave a comment. As you know, the comments are very important to Small Business Celebration. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you do remote work without having to babysit your clients, and more importantly, babysitting your employees. When we come, right back. California's CalSavers program due date of June 30th is just around the corner. And if you don't have a retirement plan set up for your employees by then, you could be in real trouble. Fortunately, you have options. You also have a contact that will help you and your business with your best intentions in mind. Call Debbie Charpentier of Charpentier Wealth Strategies at 661-322-5204 or visit her at charpentierwealth.com and discover what plans she can help you with that will keep you in compliance and provide for a better future for your employees. Call Debbie Charpentier of Charpentier Wealth Strategies at 661-322-5204. That's 661-322-5204, or visit her at charpentierwealth.com today.
Debbie Charpentier is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC, and a registered investment advisor. Charpentier Wealth Strategies is a marketing name for registered representatives of Lincoln Financial Advisors, CRN-4200694-011822.
I'm here with Dave Plivelich, the founder, president, and CEO of the Marcom Group. And our visionary question comes from Rihanna, who asks, our business has gone completely virtual, but we are having a hard time with worker productivity. What do you do to ensure that your employees get their work done without having to micromanage them?
Constant communication, for sure.
Also,
Well, I remember the early days of the pandemic, and there's some people that need to be with other people. And they say, I can't wake up in the morning and just start working. I got to be in an office space amongst other people, and that exists for sure. But when you're going 100% virtual, those people that work like that, and they can't. I mean, so there's no longer a brick and mortar place for you to go. So even though
they need that social interaction.
They need that social interaction. So, for us, one of the things that helped us was we've always, in my business, I mean, as far back as, AOL Instant Messenger, and I think there was a couple of ones.
Who's AOL?
AOL, yeah. America Online, you've got mail.
You've got mail.
But even with the staff, like our production team was always, in creative team, we're always in the same room. So they communicate with that. So we were already experienced in that, and we're Slack users right now, and that may change. But so they're constantly communicating. It's just now they're further apart. They're not in the same room. And again, there was some adjusting in the beginning, because some of us adapted well to it. Some of my team struggled with it a little bit.
Right.
It's trying to work from home, and if you got kids or animals or whatever, there was that growing pain of, okay, how do I adapt?
What's acceptable? What's not acceptable?
Yeah, but then how do I adapt to that? So the issue is, there's a lot of noise going on, okay? And so we had a discussion about that, an open discussion, even with more than one team member, because this person's struggling with a little bit. These 2 or 3 are doing it successfully. So let's discuss it as a group. How do you make it work so maybe you can get something out of this and make it work for you? And so there was some shifting and adjusting that. We do still, as a team, obviously we're filming from my house. This is my old conference room table. But my team gets together once a month, and we just get here to eat together and laugh and just catch up and bond, being back in the same room together. And like for us, weekly, my team meets without me, maybe to talk about me and
talk behind your back.
Talk behind my back, but no, it's an open forum for them, and so they'll discuss different projects or just discuss life in general, what's going on with them, and then I'll meet with my project managers after that meeting, but we're constantly in communication. So, like let's say a designer's working on something and he designed a logo or an ad, and I need to review it. Slack me, and here's the proof. I need to talk to you about this. Set a Google Meet. We use that instead of Zoom or Microsoft Teams. But there's options out there. And I'll just say I'll set that and I'll Slack the link to them. And now we're online. We're talking. Hey, let's talk about this. And I'll pull up my screen. And this is what I think should go here. And then you're back at it. So in an odd way, we're actually in more communication than we were when we were all there at the brick and mortar location. I mean, it really, really works. Clients like it too. They've adapted. I mean, I remember the first few Zoom meetings. For the first few Zoom meetings, you got this older generation sales guy with this company, and I'm still struggling on how to do this. Well, ain't we all? But once they all got over that curve, we found it was actually made them more productive. They liked it, and we like it. The thing with these two is it records all the audio. So now I got notes. We can go back through that script of the conversation, and we're not missing anything. So in a way, it made us a lot more productive.
One of the things you brought up that's important on this is that you intentionally have a meeting with your staff and you're not there.
Yeah.
Why is this important?
You've got to empower your staff, and that does that. It's tough as a leader. As a leader, we tend to want to take over the conversations and lead it the way we want it to go. I pull myself out of that because I find myself doing that. I'll jump in, I'll take over the conversation, and you can't do that as a leader. If you're going to be a good leader, you can't do that. You've got to let them do their thing, and it makes us better. I mean, there's one reason why it's the Marcom Group and not Dave's web pages. That could have easily been the decision in 1998, but it was the Marcom Group was me. My vision was the group.
Sure, right. Right.
And I was going to get there, come hell or high water. I was going to get to a group, and so, and that's what we are. I mean, we're a group. We're a great team. You gotta just shut your mouth and step out and let them go. Let them do their thing too.
One of the things that you also mentioned is that there was a period where we were all adjusting to Zoom. And we're trying to figure out, is the camera on? Can you hear me? And of course, my favorite one is this great glare of the window that just floods out the whole camera, so you can't see anything. And, can you see me? No, but we can hear you. And then, of course, the dog in the backyard, and of course, the serendipitous, child that comes walking through asking for, "Hey, Mom, do you have any milk?" Or whatever. Yeah, I mean, we remember those days.
Yeah.
But this is all part of a growing period, and this is also part of tripping and falling, as you had mentioned before. What are some of the things that you have taken away over the last 20 plus years that you've owned the Marcom Group that is part of that tripping and falling and growth that you've experienced that has helped you become the Rolls Royce of the marketing industry?
Don't sweat the small stuff to a point, but also don't tolerate substandard. So just to kind of roll back to that whole team thing and working remotely and the online stuff, it used to be that was your kids coming into the, we're in a meeting right now and your kids coming up and doing that. It was like that's unprofessional. Now, when's Justin? It's like, no, I got a kid. And, you can have the juice box. Go about your deal. Yeah, but that's life, so you don't sweat that kind of stuff. I do find being, I don't want to say politically correct. In fact, we had a conversation last night at my wine tasting group. So I've been in a wine tasting group, been meeting since 2005, and our careers and lives and watching how we've evolved over the past, how many years is that? 18, 17 years?
Sure.
We were talking about an interaction with clients, and my one buddy was talking about an interaction with a consultant that he was dealing with. He was dealing with this person and realized their level of competency wasn't what they thought. Sure. And it was obvious to him, and but he had to figure out how to phrase that and communicate his concerns without going, "You don't know what you're doing, do you?" Because he still was going to have to work with that person. So he had to sit back, think about how am I going to approach this conversation, empower and embrace, but get my point across that, hey, step up your game. You think you're here, but you need to be up here. And what can I do to help kind of get you there? I've got to be able to communicate to a client the same type of thing. So I've got to be very blunt. And back in the day, I'd be cautious because I don't want to offend. But then I reached that point in my life where I went, you know what? You're not paying me to be soft. You're paying me for my expertise and for me to be brutally honest with you. If not, then I'm not being effective, and what are you paying me for? What did you really need my help for? So the client also has to be able to accept that. But again, you have to sugarcoat a little bit. There's a proper way to deliver that message, but...
For those of us that are introverts, and social skills are everything that we learn because they don't come to us intuitively.
You thought that's what you were.
Well, I am. It's just I've had 30 years of being kicked in the teeth to learn otherwise. But how did you learn how to do that? How to sugarcoat it, but not make it sacred, but still get the point across without making it too painful?
Because I realized that's what I needed and wanted. I needed that. I needed people to be that way with me. And once you're not helping anybody by not doing it. You know what I mean? I need honesty. I need somebody to say, and through the different businesses and organizations that I've been involved with over the years, I need that. Because if one person will say, hey, do you realize the way you're approaching this? And, how many aren't saying it? So, go into a restaurant, you got bad service. How many times do we, this thing's awful. Server comes up, how is it? Oh, it's great.
Yeah, how many times have we done that? Right.
We do it. It's just a natural reaction. But as a business owner, they want to know. As a business owner, I want to know. The server needed to know. The chef, the cook in the back needs to know.
Right.
Because if you don't say, well, this wasn't very good, and it was dry.
Right.
Well, that means the next person that ordered it is probably going to be great. If I didn't say something, the next order is going to get what I just got, and all of a sudden you're increasing that circle of people are going, don't go there. Please tell me. No matter how it may hurt, you've got to get thick skin. You've got to get thick skin and go, all right, but please tell me, what am I doing wrong so I can fix it?
When we come back, we're going to talk about risky investments from somebody who's doing one. The reason we're here with Dave Plivelich, the president, CEO, and founder of the Marcom Group, is because of a Visioneer question that came from a Visioneer just like you. They wanted to find out about remote work and how do you do it successfully without babysitting your employees. So if you've got a question, you've got a thought, something you'd like to learn about, reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, and let us know what you'd like to learn about. So reach out to us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram today. We're here with Dave Plivelich, the president, founder, CEO of the Marcom Group, and our Visioneer question comes from Jim, who asks, we feel very fortunate that our business has done well during COVID, and we're looking to diversify it to other businesses. My partner has brought up a couple businesses that are for sale, but they seem very risky. How do you differentiate between a bad investment and a seemingly risky venture that may not be too bad?
Don't try to figure out everything yourself. Bring in experts. So you want, if you're not like a numbers person, get the numbers, have your CPA or another business owner that is, I've got buddies they live by the numbers. Right. Get that in front of them so they can do that part of the assessment. If you're good at kind of reading people and can do that, if not, get somebody else that can. Don't try to do everything yourself and assess the whole thing yourself. But definitely, you want to look at the team. You want to look at, is that part of the problem? I mean, you've got some toxic weeds that are working at that business. That could be a big part of that problem, which is making that a risky investment. Same thing with the numbers. If they don't know the numbers, are they operating in a negative because they're I've seen businesses do that. They'll try to undercut everybody. Mm-hmm. So I'm you use me, look how much money you're saving. Well, there's a reason why everyone else is charging the number they are, because you need profit. Right. Because, oops, you're out of business, you only started last year. Guess that cheap price didn't really work out for you, did it?
Yeah, but I'll make it up on volume.
Oh, dear God, yeah, I'll make it up on volume. There you go. Yeah.
But you yourself have taken on what some might argue is a risky investment.
Which one? I've had risky investments, absolutely. Absolutely. I've also had successful ones. That's part of entrepreneurs. That's a seed that's in there when we have no control over that. So what you do is you embrace that and go, those are going to be learning experiences. Absolutely. You're going to fall. You're going to trip and you're going to scuff your knees. Do you just lay there and go, well, I tried? Or do you stand back up and go, okay, what did I do wrong there? And what am I not going to do wrong moving forward? And any entrepreneur will tell you that. And again, if you're not tripping and falling here and there and having some failures, then you're definitely not doing it right. You're not trying hard enough because you have to. And you can read in a book and you can get advice from others, and it's always good to do that. I mean, always get advice. I mean, no one's reinventing the wheels around here. But there's some stuff where you have to absolutely experience it for yourself. It doesn't matter if they say, be careful, watch out for this. You're like, whatever. Kids, your kids, don't touch that, it's hot. Well, now we know. now we know, don't we?
Sure.
And it didn't matter how many times, don't touch that, it's hot. We had to, as human beings, go, oh yeah, you're right. Mom! We have to. And in business, that is something you absolutely have to do. You have to do. But you have to learn from those mistakes and not repeat those mistakes.
But some might argue in this digital age that buying a newspaper is a risky investment.
That's awesome. How you loop that back into there. Yeah. All right. So what he's alluding to is in 2019, and not 2009, that's a different year. 2019, well, actually one of the guys from my wine group,
Right.
known him forever, came to me and said, "Hey, Dave, you want to buy a newspaper?" No.
Not just no, but no.
No, it was a quick no. Valley Ag Voice is what we're talking about here. It was called Kern County Valley Ag Voice, and he said, "Well, hold on, listen to me." I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to talk about a newspaper here, and this was back when the big newspapers were shutting down.
Right.
It's just like, why would I want to do that? He said it's been flying under the radar. It's got a very targeted demographic, and it's been around since 2013, I think is when it started. Yeah, 2013. And I'm like, all right. So I started asking colleagues, again, don't make decisions by yourself. Investigate. Look, that risky investment, ask. And so I started asking people, hey, have you ever heard of this paper? Yeah, I have. I don't know how I got on the mailing list. I'm not, it's geared towards farmers, ranchers, and dairy producers. This guy clearly is not any of those. And he goes, I got on the mailing list. He goes, but I read it cover to cover. It's got good information and wow, I enjoy it. And I started getting that consistently from people I was talking to. And I'm like, all right. So I went back to him, and we actually have a third partner, and he's also in our wine group. So
there seems to be a pattern with this wine group. I think that's a group I want to join.
I mean, well, it's funny. It's supposedly centered on the wine. It ain't about the wine, man. It's about that group, that friendship, that network. It's a bunch of group of friends that have been growing up together,
Right.
and I'm part of different groups of that, and they are too. I mean, we've got this group, these guys have this in this group,
Right.
But anyway, so I gotta do shout outs, right? So Kyle Jones,
Okay.
he's an attorney here in town. If you ever need a trust or personal injury stuff, Kyle's your guy. And then Russell Johnson, he's my other partner. And so I went back to Russell and I said, well, what's the guy wanting for it? And he tells me the number, and he goes, all right. And he goes, so we split it 3 ways. I'm like, all right. What's their website like? And he goes, they don't have a website. I'm in. So the resounding quick no spot, the no website, I'm in. So we rebranded it, and it's been doing really well. It's got a long road to go, but things happened very rapidly for us on it. We didn't make changes right away, and that's another thing. If you're talking about risky investments or investments. I mean, so when you make that choice to do this other company or do this other thing, don't rush in and make crazy changes. Let the dust settle a little bit. Get attuned to who our riders were, what did we want to keep, what did we want to change. So we want to give that. We didn't want to shake that tree right away.
Right.
We shook it faster than what we said we were going to, but that's what we did. And so we rebranded it. We were going to develop a website by the first quarter of 2020. That didn't happen. It bugged me. I'm like, we got to have a website. So within 2 months, had a website. Again, we rebranded it. We got really good at what we do, and the content got a lot better. We got to the point by the end of 2019 that the Kern County Farm Bureau, they also had a publication.
Right.
They came to us and said, this is a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes, we know.
As we know. But again, the fortunate thing with us is, like me and Russell laugh about it all the time, we both think we have the hardest job. You get the layout and doing all this, and I'm like, dude, and you're writing? I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. And he's all, I wouldn't want to do that, So again, find your niche. But so the Farm Bureau said, look, let's work out a deal. Give us a page in your paper for our Farm Bureau news to our members, and we'll give you our mailing list. All right. So we did that. So by January 2020, so 6 months later, we almost doubled our subscribership overnight. So it's a win-win for them. It's a win-win for us.
And one of the other things that you also did, and you pointed it out very early on, is the name of the newspaper was Kern
County Valley Ag Voice.
And you changed it to
Valley Ag Voice. Yeah.
Why?
Growth. We didn't want to limit ourselves. Why would you want to do that? There was, and I've seen that through the years. There was a group back in, I was probably 2021. They came out with, Bakersfield Girls Calendar. Mm-hmm. The only people that are going to buy that are people from Bakersfield.
Right.
So you just hamstringed yourself by doing that,
Right. What makes you wake up every morning and open your business?
Just the overall excitement of what could transpire for the day. It's funny. I've had this conversation with a few of my close friends lately. Sleeping has sort of become a pain in my side. It's like, oh, day's done. I have to go to sleep now. And I don't use an alarm clock. I usually wake up about 4 a.m. and I'll read for an hour or so. And I've been doing this for past 4 or 5 years at least. Read for an hour or so, and I'll go back to sleep for about an hour or so, and then get up and go about my day. Like clockwork, it doesn't matter if I go to bed at 10, 10:30, 11, 1:30 in the morning. I wake up at 4 a.m. All right, let's go.
Sure.
Get it started. So, but it's that excitement, that energy of what I got going on, what exciting things are going to happen today, and opportunities I'm going to have to get to tackle or face, issues that I may want to tackle or face. I think I told you one other time we were doing this interview, I don't like the word problem. I like issue. It's an issue. It's solvable, but you got to breathe deep and figure out how you're going to solve that issue. Because you can't close your eyes and wish it can go away. I mean, I had some issues over the past couple of years. Some serious stuff that I would have loved to have laid in bed, covers pulled over my head, praying, whatever you want to call it, that it would go away. The reality is, you open those eyes, it's still there. It has to be addressed, no matter what. And for business owners, you run into that quite a bit. It's just, you have to do it. So rip off that Band-Aid and tackle it. And that's for leaders and anybody else, my team. Everybody needs to look at things that way and just go, all right, I got you. Yeah.
If visionaries want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
The marcomgroup.com, my website, our website, TheMarcomGroup.com. And after you get to know me for a while, you'll get my cell phone number. You can call me anytime.
It's 97655. No, stop. Well, Dave, this has been a real privilege. Thank you very much for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll be right back with my final thought. California's CalSavers program due date of June 30th is just around the corner. And if you don't have a retirement plan set up for your employees by then, you could be in real trouble. Fortunately, you have options. You also have a contact that will help you and your business with your best intentions in mind. Call Debbie Charpentier of Charpentier Wealth Strategies at 661-322-5204 or visit her at charpentierwealth.com and discover what plan she can help you with that will keep you in compliance and provide for a better future for your employees. Call Debbie Charpentier of Charpentier Wealth Strategies at 661-322-5204. That's 661-322-5204 or visit her at charpentierwealth.com today.
Debbie Charpentier is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC, and a registered investment advisor. Charpentier Wealth Strategies is a marketing name for registered representatives of Lincoln Financial Advisors, CRN-4200694-011822.
Improving the world around you. Several years ago, my wife's sewing machine broke down, and I took it to a repair store to have it fixed. And after it was repaired, I was talking with the business owner who told me the story of Garrett Morgan. Now, Garrett Morgan was an African American who was born in rural Kentucky in the late 1800s, and he lived to see the early 1940s, and he, as a boy, left to go see the big city of Cincinnati, Ohio, and later moved to Cleveland, Ohio. And one of the things about Garrett was he was a tinkerer. He loved to tinker with things and fix things and whatnot. But he also had another key important trait. He also hired a tutor to keep up his education so that he could learn things and discover things and improve himself in what he knew. So much so that he ended up opening up his own sewing repair shop, fixing and repairing sewing machines. His business grew and became very successful, and he did a whole variety of things for his community. But one of the things that he noticed changed the world as we know it. One day, he was sitting at a major traffic intersection, and he noticed that with all the horses and carriages and bicycles and pedestrians, there just seemed to be nothing but utter confusion in this intersection. And he thought, there has got to be a better way. And he did. He came up with a 3-color system: stop, yield, and go. The precursor to the modern traffic light. As your business grows and becomes more successful, take a look out your window. Take a look out your door. Maybe the way you change the world is right there in front of you. I hope you enjoyed our conversation this week with Dave Plivelich, the president, founder, and CEO of the Marcom Group, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business, and we'll see you here again next week. By the way, what did the ocean say to the beach? What did the ocean say to the beach?
Something about the sea.
No. Actually, nothing. It just waved.
All right, good.
Welcome to Small Business Celebration, and our guest. Well, the reason we're here talking to Dave Plivelich is, first of all, he's been on Small Business Celebration. The reason we're talking with Dave Plivelich is because, well, first of all, he's been on Small Business Celebration before, but that was way back in the days before YouTube, when it was just a podcast only. And one of the things that I learned from that particular episode was how important names are, because Dave's last name doesn't necessarily pronounce the way that it's spelled. You'll disagree, of course. But it was a great time because I went through and I practiced, only to find out I practiced it wrong. And then when I got into the interview, he corrected me. And if there had just been a camera, when I pushed record, you would have seen Dave go, yes, when I got it right. So this is one of those life lessons that I've learned from you, as well as the multitude of things that I've learned from you since then and all the great things that you're doing. But I have to also, and I'm going to skip that whole thing because I don't need to. I'm going to restart. I just realized that wasn't going where I wanted to go. So anyway.
Well, the beautiful part about this, you might be able to squeeze in some of the stuff from over there that did work, right? I mean, it's fine.
And I could probably even put that in the credits in the end.
Yeah.
There you go. It's weird things called editing.